welcome back to Super Hostile, Canopy Carnage. We have only one thing left to find. That is the black wool. And so, we will endeavor to do so. With all the diamonds and diamond gear that we got from the Red Wool dungeon, we once again have a full set of diamond. Just barely, though. There's a slime nearby. That's kind of annoying. That's alright. We've got torches. Got some more cobblestone. Some more wheat for more food. And we are good to go looking around. We have very much scoured the ground as much as could be reasonably possible. So I think we need to look up on the trees. We've got a good amount of view distance. So let's not start at night. That's not going to help. I'm going to go to back towards the center of the map and see if there's anything we can see from there. We've gotten very good looks at even the tops of the trees from out on the water. So if there's anything else, if there's any large dungeons up in the trees, our best bet is from the middle. So we're going to head back out this way. Follow our torch trail. Right to the middle. Which should be near the dungeon here. One would think. Let's get a feel for generally in the middle. While walking away from zombies. They're pretty slow. Here's our tower. One of the first towers that we used for looking around. Yeah, I think we're at a point where if it was in a structure on the ground here, we would have seen it. Here's this. So maybe just... Oh, there's a creeper behind us. Deal with you. Deal with you. Let's go to the top of here. Because we can. Ladders? We might want more. We're probably going to need more ladders and wood. So let us get to chopping a tree around here somewhere. Or we could just go back. Get more. There's a squid. Let's chop this tree a little bit. Diamond axe does a pretty good job of chopping. And just block it up too. Very safe. Very cool. Kinda safe. Pretty cool. Good enough. Because if we're going to be going to the top of the trees, we're going to need, like, another stack of... Really? No. Not so safe. Pretty cool. Ow. That's nearly a stack of wood there, I guess. Yay. A safer way to do this would have been to go up into the tree a ways. And then we would chop without anything being able to hit us. Is that what we did? Of course not. Of course not. We can still see the back side of the temple. But that's also slightly in the island, since it has the whole path to just get to the temple. So I think, in general, this is about the middle. And it would make sense to have one of the dungeons here in the middle. As much as this can be a dungeon. A structure, at least, we can say. Let us start by getting up on the top here. We're right underneath this tree. It's probably not the best place to be making a ladder. It just feels appropriate here. So let us get another stack of ladders here. And all the... Or we're also going to need a stack of blocks to get up there. And some sticks. And some sticks. More sticks. Uses a lot of sticks. I think you get 3 ladders later. Only getting 2. A bit disappointing. 53. I feel like that's not going to be enough. Just the way that it is out here. More blocks. Once we get up there, we're also going to need blocks, obviously. We want to go anywhere that isn't just right there. There we go. How about right up here? How about right up here? Yeah, this whole complex was very much a location. Had the farms and the main building. Yeah, putting this actually out, not under the tree, would have been an idea. It'd be better lit, that's for sure. But things can't spawn on the side of ladders, so it's okay. It's okay. If there's anything to see right now. We got trees. We got a piece of wood. Don't think that's ours. That might be the location where we spawned in the air and then had to build. I don't think. Yeah, if it was that, we would have seen this ruin and not a different one. I think that's something. It's got a sign on it. Yep, that's not mine. Just a tiny bit of information about what's going on here. There is something here. And really, that's all we're looking for. Just anything to give us any tiny shred of information. Anything to go on here. And some glowstone. Very fun. Right about here is a decent spot to start heading across. Let us move around blocks and stuff. Move our food down. We should be pretty safe here. Things can't spawn on leaves. So, Should be safe to make this path here without a bunch of safety rails or anything. As long as we're careful. Sneaking and placing stuff under you definitely works better with full blocks. Don't want to be trying this with half slabs, that's for sure. As a recipe for disaster. Let's start making our way up a little bit here. Don't have stairs or anything, but not too necessary. Tacos are still delicious. As a callback to earlier maps. And indeed, still holds true. Big meat. Okay. This could be the trolling tree, perhaps. Space? I want to go to space. Let's go to space. Please do not burn down this forest with lemons. Space, space, I like space. Let's be in space. Space, space, need to be in space. Space, space. Ba 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 ba. Space, ba 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 ba. I want to go. Space. Hey, you. Space, let's go. Space, 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 space. I want to be in space. I'm in space now. Let's go to space. We're close to space. As close as you can get in Minecraft beta. Almost to the cloud layer. It's quite the thing. Here is some planks. This used to be the spawn area before I moved it. Now it's overgrown and abandoned. Neat. So, the old spawn is here. The new spawn is in the nether area. And the world spawn is floating in the air, because why not, I guess. Let's sleep the night away here. Alternatively, we could not sleep the night away. Might be a good idea. Normally, I don't use mods, but this map just begs for a grappling hook. I totally Spider-Man it. Oh yeah. That is a completely unintended reference to Super Hostile Jungle of Secrets, which is going to have the magic mod of the Super Hostile mod pack, which includes grapple. So, soon-ish, probably, this will be possible. Grappling through a jungle. Whether or not it's going to be quite as large trees, yet to be seen. But there is more space to play with in what would be Minecraft 1.12. So we will see. We don't want to burn down the trees. We really can't. Which is something. We see our torch trails all around the place. There's a birch. Doesn't look like there's much else up here besides the spawn stuff. Let's see if we can get to the top here. Yeah, it's going to be best served with some more ladders. Coming from that way. Let's go up this. Does make a fair bit of sense to have spawn in the middle of the map. In a map like this. Where every direction's fundamentally the same. But also makes your first exploration more dangerous. Since you don't have the water to be safe in. I'm a torch here. Because I can. I have to be close to the top here. Nighttime. If it's anything with a torch on top of the trees, we should be able to see it pretty well, I would think. Okay. Alright, from here, we've got trees and darkness. Alright. Cloud layer might not be helping here. Unfortunately, the only video settings here are fast or fancy. And fast just makes the cloud layer a line instead of a block. So it's still in the way. And with fancy we can see through leaves, so it's probably better. Okay. So from here, we could bridge over to the tops of other trees, I suppose. Good of ideas as any at this rate. We can just see all of our paths down below. You can really see everywhere we've been. This is a birch tree. Let's look at the size of the tops of these. My goodness. Just tops of trees as far as the eye can see. How close are we to the build limit? We are at the build limit. Can't get any higher than this. We should be able to see any kind of odd blocks up here. I think we'd probably be better off having it be daytime. Just pop back down here. We got a convenient ladder system all the way to ground, so that's nice. Got plenty of blocks. Can make more if we need to. Don't need the ladders here anymore, really, since we're already at the top. I think we'll keep spawn here. A death would most likely be from falling all the way to the ground, though, so we'll see how that goes. Oh, yeah. Now we need to slowly branch out in different directions. Cross the tops of the trees. And find if there's anything else to see. Here we can see the different kinds of tops of trees. We've got a little ball, little cave-like area over there. That's something. Might be nothing. I mean, yes, yes, those are the options. It's probably just logs. Yeah, it's just logs. We got spindly trees, large canopy trees. Let's see what we can find. This way would connect to all those most quickly. Let's start going this way. There's a few options for the best way to look around up here. We can either do like a spokes out from the center, go around in a spiral. Options. Put some lights up here. We're far enough away from the ground we could end up with our bridges being the only places where things can spawn. But we got a bow. We could deal with that fairly easily. I do want to sprint across the tops of these trees, but sprint is not a thing. Look at these little spindly ones. My goodness. Compared to the massive amount of leaves at the top, these super spruces are just little bits. Still poking over the tree cover though, so, or the cloud layer. It's definitely something. This looks like it's like butting up right next to the next one. So that makes it efficient for getting back across. One thing we could have considered for exploring up here would be a water bucket. Probably would not be a bad idea for actually getting out of here. This is like 3 of the large topped trees all right next to each other. Definitely makes traversing up here safer than going down on the ground, at least. Well lit, no mob spawns. No complaints here. What's that over there? And worst case scenario, we could probably find more blocks in the trees in the form of wood, obviously. Going for a diagonal here. Generally not something I like to do. Trying to get around the sides here easily. I think one direction we don't need to go as much would be back towards the temple. Just because anything very noticeable from there we would have already seen. I think we are kind of going back that way. So we came up from there. And just getting to these large trees gives us the most space here so we can look around. Here next, I guess. And we need more blocks. Definitely more block intensive than walking around on the ground. That's for sure. There's a water pool down there. We got torches next to it, so if it was anything, we would have seen it. Just anything that's even slightly different can be a clue to maybe something. If it's below the cloud level, that's slightly problematic. Just because there's clouds in the way, obviously. Another thing we need to worry about if we try to start collecting more wood would be that the leaves might start decaying, and that could be problematic, clearly. Go across here. Seems like pretty much any of the other kinds of trees. Oh, we're right over the temple now. This is not. I mean, it could be over the temple. Hard to say. Let's try going a different way. Oh, trying to get back could end up being problematic here, couldn't it? We have to go around each large tree looking for the wood. I guess it's pretty noticeable. The temple's right there. Kind of go further this way. Just walking across a sea of cloud here. Very spooky. Ah, Yes, we can't place another block there. That's too high. If we're coming closer to the temple, we're gonna go the other way. Let's go back across the diagonal here. Yeah, putting the bridges one block down so we can mark off different ways. Probably a good idea. Temple's back that way. Let's go this way. Connect up to that one, probably. Also, I have not been adding lights. Probably should be putting torches on these. Probably advisable. Not a huge deal, though. But I could have also brought the bed. That might have helped. Just get all the planks here. Love it. So I think over this way would be more in the corner would be where the rail is. We would want to get quite that far. Because I think we looked around from the rail. I guess we looked more on the ground though, so could still be something. Let's keep looking around the sides here. These little spindly guys. Hilarious. That might be the edge there. Let's keep moving. Edge of the map. Look how small the diamond tree looks from up here. My goodness. But yeah, that's the beach. Very good. So we've made it to the edge on this side, essentially. Where's the rail here? I think it's in this corner at least. We can just see a whole bunch of trees. Less of the tallest trees. The largest canopies over on this side, unfortunately. Gonna make it more difficult if I want to travel this direction. See any of the ruins down here? You can see it's becoming nighttime. Go back around that way, maybe. Yeah, so far not seeing any wool. We couldn't make a bed. Not seeing anything immediately obvious over from here. Let's start making our way back. And no good spots to make connections here either. It's definitely just tops of trees. Back across here. Got a little bit of a system here for showing paths we've already taken. Oh, yep, like I said, everything's going to spawn right there. Where'd that creeper go? Into the abyss. That's fine. I already went back that way. I guess we're gonna go this way next. We can still see a little bit at least, so that's nice. I think I do want it to be daytime for this exploration. Here we put a torch. Very nice. Very convenient. Is this just connected? Yes, it connects to the top of the middle tree here. Perfect. And then we have our ladder. Alright. Well, that's working. I think I'll bring the bed with me. Just so I don't have to keep coming back here if we need to sleep again. Could also grab some wood. This is signs and ladders here. So, realistically, could take the rest of these logs. Not burning down all the trees, but I am chopping a lot of them. That's fair. We get a net positive of blocks by chopping here and then building back up with planks or something. Right. Yeah, a little framey. Just from the amount of wood that we were using, I think I need to grab more here. Worth being prepared. Very big inside of the tree here. My goodness. All the trees are very large, so I guess it's not super surprising or anything. Get back up here. Alright. It's another stack and a half of logs. So 6 more stacks of planks. That should work. That'll get us a bit further at least. Up top. And across. I kind of want to go to... going further this way. Went off that way. We'll go this way and further out, I suppose. That was just the easiest way because it connected to all those trees too. This way. Definitely a fairly large map, all things considered. Plenty of space for activities. Even if most of those activities are walking through a bit of darkness underneath all the giant trees. That's alright. Yeah, some of these aren't even as tall. They're still massively tall trees, but not as tall as these ones. Much more relaxing up here. Pretty swell. Let's cross over here. See the patches where the light gets through at the bottom. All the various tiny, tiny plants down below, comparatively. Definitely a place. There's gonna be any other secrets in that kind of tree? Because that one had the spawn in it. Or old spawn. Old-ish kind of spawn. Do we see any? Oh, that's alpha and beta right over there. So we're nearby to that. I guess technically we might not have seen anything at the treetops from there. We were close though. Well, we can get a new perspective of this area right here. And if we could connect to here, it wouldn't be as huge of an issue getting back down. Since we can actually traverse this fairly effectively. It's definitely a slightly different pattern to these trees. Just because they were more sculpted, probably. Right, now we're back here. Bravo. Fence is in the way. Between the slab and the fence, this is very awkward. Anything immediately noticeable from here? That's the platform. And we are very much near the edge here, too. Let's go this way. That's the next closest. If we can use the Alpha and Bravo base here as another forking point in at least this corner of the map, help a little bit. Make these easier to deal with. Okay. A little darker. That's all right. Pretty far to the next one's there. Oh, here would be just more branching backwards, kinda. Cover this, we're still almost to the edge. It's really not seeing much yet here. Yeah, that's the edge. There's an iron tree way down there. It feels like a different section of the map all the way up here. A very different experience, all things considered. I don't think we're gonna get much further this way, though. I think we'll keep the path open to go back this way. How did we get down here? Just kind of went down, didn't we? These leaves are fragile at this point. Don't trust it a huge amount. This way. No good spots to really bridge out from this way. This one was... They were like trying to bridge out from here. Nothing really that way though. Alright. Back this way a little bit. We go around this side. Maybe. Maybe that could be something. There's our path we took in. Some of the leaves almost look like mossy, just because they're green. Obviously not. Go back around this side maybe a little bit. Just like right next to where we already were. Yeah, let's build a base here. We're gonna build a base here, where we can place a bed on top of it. Did we not bring the bed? We didn't bring the bed, did we? Inconvenient. I guess the top's not gonna get lit. Because there's no lighting at the top. Alright. Hum 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 hum. Get back further here. Guess I forgot to grab the bed when I was grabbing all the planks. That's alright. You want to keep going this way? I guess. The wood is very noticeable, for the paths back at least. So we got that going for us, which is nice. I think I'm going to sleep and then get back out towards the Alpha and Bravo camp area. Alright, back. There's not really any other good, clear paths forward here. So I'm going to take a bit of inspiration from my predecessors and just continue this bridge. Could start from there, but this bridge exists, so we'll see what we can see here. I think we're still above the clouds at least, so. Don't really want to get below the clouds, I don't think. We'll be able to get to at least that tree. Use that as some kind of connection, maybe. We got about as far as we could with just the easiest and best to traverse treetops there. Can we see any of our torches down below? We're at the wrong angle for it. We look into the darkness a little bit. Maybe? No. More wooden planks. Iron tree. Iron tree. They're definitely towards the edge on this side. I think just... That's something? You can almost see better in the corner. Yeah, it's definitely... Top of that one. Way over there. Oh boy. So they had an idea, didn't they? They started the bridge, but then things happened. Either a curse or they just all died. There's where the explosion was. Maybe I'll drop down in there. Probably not gonna risk it though. We can get out via the minecart track. Realistically, a bucket of water would have been a great idea for getting out of here. We have sand, but only 64. So, not enough to actually get down. Where's it at? Right there. And I need more blocks. It's gotta be it. A pretty wild location, honestly. Unless you were building up at the tops of the trees, don't think you would see this chest at all. When every other... There's one of the structures. It's really close by, all things considered. There's like the rail. I think you just... I don't think you'll be able to see it just because of the angle it's at either. Yeah, it's totally a thing. Wow. Let's get over there. It's definitely one of the structures right there. Really wish that the water was deep enough to jump in. Would be convenient. Would make this exit a lot more simple. We try to do something crazy like putting a boat in and jumping in the boat at the same time. It's right here at the edge. Wow. I think there might be a thing. It's literally on the edge. I think there might be something with chests not rendering in when you get too far away. Although we did see this from a pretty far distance. Yeah, here it is. Black wool. I'm taking all of it. It was literally right here on the edge. I need to go back. I don't know if we were looking all the way to the top. I need to go back to some of my going around the entire island looking at everything. Because if this was visible, even if this was visible from all the way down there, it's very far away. Let's see if this theory holds any water. How far away? It might just be from render distance. We can see it from here. Can confirm. It's also going to matter which chunks are loaded. But we've got a major advantage in the are the chunks loaded department. Because we can load all the chunks. I imagine a lot of this map, well, I know that a lot of this map would have been harder previously when it wasn't possible to see this far. Like if you're going on tiny render distance, you aren't seeing anything. It's just right on the spawn. I think the spawn chunk is going to be... The chunk spawning in is going to be the limiting factor. Also, being able to see anything, it's going to be the limiting factor. Do I trust to put my bed here? Not so much. Let's go at least above this tree. Shift? What are you doing? Usually works. Sometimes it doesn't. Yes, the chest is still there. It's just very far away. We theoretically see it from the end here. Gosh, not really. No, you totally can. It's just a single block way over there. Assuming you have the full render distance, in the corner you can just about tell that it's not a leaf. Wild. Alright. Well, let's get back then. Then we can go looking around the map. Getting back is going to be just a small process here. Blocks on the bar. I think I'm going to take the actual minecart this time. What fun. Back through here. Don't need to pick up anything, if anything's even still here. Since the map is done now. We did it. Wild. Look at all this stuff. Got another bed. Take another bed. Okay. And I'll take a bed and a bread. Delicious. Oh, one of the things is delicious. The other is furniture. Minecart. The power of powered rails and detector rails. Amazing. Let's see if we can see it from the rail here either. Yeah, the trees are just getting in the way. Seems. It's way over there. Yeah, by the time we get close, we're going to be much lower. Ultimately, for at least these first maps, the completing the monument is more of a side goal. So that's fine. And it's gonna go. Nope. Yeah, from here, you're too under the tree to see it. So close to almost visible. We're gonna have to check out the water too. I think we're just gonna leave through this building. Not try to take the tunnel back to the other structure. Just I want to get out to the water here. Let's see if it's as visible from there. Again, it really depends on what's loaded. You can see the bedrock wall. Again, render distance plays a big part here. Go down. That's the tunnel. This is a stack of arrows and chainmail. That's a creeper. That's also a creeper. Okay, we got a slime, but we don't have a boat. Let's make a boat. We got plenty of wood for it. Wood was never a problem. Wood was never a problem. from here. Just seeing the tops is also a problem because of the clouds. Clouds get in the way. There it is. Even the leaves right below it get in the way. If we go this way, it's something wood at the top of the tree, and then even the leaves right there, very hard to see. Wild. Absolutely wild. That is not going to be the last time that there is a wool up in the top of a tree. But the next one is more memorable. So. But that's not going to be for a while. We just need to get back to the Victory Monument. Place black wool. We collected every piece of wool except for the one piece of purple that fell too far away from us. But you only need one to complete the Victory Monument, which is also going to be more of a theme in another map. But we will get there when we get there. For right now, this is more Canopy Carnage as a prelude to Jungle of Secrets. There was, at one point, going to be a Canopy Carnage 2 with more terrain and not just a square island with massive trees on it. But that did not end up happening. So, Jungle of Secrets will probably take a bit of inspiration from that. But it's also going to be modded. So there's even more block options than just switching from beta to release Minecraft. And so far with the modded maps, the forested areas have been pretty good for what little amount there has been of those. There's definitely plenty of options for custom trees. We'll see if any of these end up making an appearance, or any of the other custom trees from some of the other maps. They're definitely large trees, so we'll see how much that gets used. Be able to fly around in the trees, also an option. Probably still won't be able to cut the entire tree down at once. That was another massive source of lag if you tried that. Overall, most of the trees are more just visual than useful. We got the iron trees and the diamond trees. That's pretty much it. But not every tree needs to have treasure in it or anything. If there's like a treasure vault up at the top of each of the big trees, that would give you more reason to be running around up top and then eventually find the black wool. That's alright. We made it there in the end, I suppose. And we broke the boat. Of course we did. Out of my way, creeper. And skeleton. And spider. Not right now. Not right now. Let's get in here. Place it. And map complete. All the wool, except for the one purple. all the metal blocks. Didn't end up fixing the monument. As a tribute to the poor fools that tried to explore this before me. All the expeditions. But we were successful. So now, let's go fly around the map. Looks a bit different in modern Minecraft. The chests are smaller. All the paintings fell off. We can change the graphics. Default lighting would be great. Smooth lighting on. Well, let us go and look at things. Game mode. Let's go spectator. The dungeon's right above here. We can see the trees we chopped down. Let us increase the render distance a bit. And by a bit, I mean a lot. Time. Set. Day. We have different biomes. It's fine. Just see. Well, now we're having trouble rendering everything, but I guess that's just because it's trying to render everything again for the first time, essentially. Let me tone it down a little bit. What's the maximum chunks on the old was? There's the ship. One of the dungeons. Yeah, I'd say that all the wool locations, besides the black, were pretty realistic to find. There's a few smaller chunks, smaller little structures out in here. Overall, pretty noticeable. Like a big patch of soul sand, or anything made of mossy cobble. The tree is definitely the standout feature here. All sorts of shapes and sizes. Most of them not particularly useful, but good to look at. The big red wool dungeon was appropriately interesting. If it wasn't for the fact that you could just waltz right in with the invincibility armor. Intro area, very cool. The temple is pretty much the perfect location for a base and all that. Definitely worked better having the spawn there. Then you could hopefully make your way to the temple first. Sorry. Sky bridges. Plenty of wood. Lots of stone down below, so that wasn't a problem. The diamond trees were appropriate, noticeable, very rewarding. Very simple terrain, clearly. But that was definitely a decision in order to allow for more interesting trees. Whether or not smaller trees and a little bit more underground would have been better, it's an idea. This dungeon was appropriate. Lots of spawners. Good final dungeon feel. Gas spawner. Systematically working around. Or you could just basically dig through the side. No real bedrock in the way here. You'd have to figure out that you need to get into this room, though. So that would take at least a little bit of looking around. Very easy to traverse around the edge with the water. Overall, not the best map, just because most of it was pretty simple. The individual dungeons weren't very large. Not too much going on. Some of them more interesting than others. Like the skeleton railway, or the connecting two structures that then went to the Alpha and Bravo location. A little bit of story, which is always nice. Even if there's not anyone around to tell the tale. Signs instead of books, since books didn't exist yet. And the one singular in the map rail. Overall, not bad. Definitely interested to see what Jungle Secrets is going to be like. Whether it's going to be as open world as this. Definitely going to be more going on with the dungeons. Likely to be at least some underground component. Whether or not it's going to be one continuous jungle or multiple separate jungles. All questions that will be explored in due time. But for now, that is Super Hostile. Canopy Carnage. Complete. Jungle Secrets will be next, whenever that happens. And then after that, we will continue very slowly getting through the entire series. Next series. Goodbye. And there's my pigs. And now in 1.19, we have spawned the caves. I guess we could also go and check just one last thing. Beyond the walls should have rendered at least a little bit. What's back here? We're in too deep. Map by Vechs. Up on top of the giant bedrock wall. Then on the other side, terrain. Not sure if this could probably be, just based on the distance, this could probably just be more recent terrain, maybe. tell by the generation exactly what's happening out here. Either way, since we were able to walk on top of the trees at max height, we most likely would have been able to walk across and exit the map when we were done. Didn't really need to, though. That's alright. Got a big chasm here. Again, not sure if this is blending the map in. Either way. Super hostile. Canopy Carnage. All the trees. And the significantly smaller dungeons. Look, the size of the trees compared to the largest structure in the entire map. I'd say this is larger than the red wool. Yeah. It's all these levels and still nowhere close to the height of the trees. Really hoping to see some gargantuan individual trees. Next series. Goodbye.